Hello, I am Matthew with SEO Guide Shop, and this is how you use Google Search Console for beginners. So let's go ahead and get started. I think the first thing that you would need to do is to add your property and just kind of follow these steps. You basically just like put the DNS code inside the domain. So if you use Squarespace, for example, go to the DNS and you got to edit the domain DNS to like verify the site. Um, that's obviously important because otherwise you won't be able to see anything. So like after you kind of do all that and you got to like wait a couple days, you'll start collecting data. Um, Google Search Console, I would say, is very easy to use and pretty straightforward. And we'll go to like the most important thing, which I think is the search results here. Well, there's two important things. There's the search results, which is kind of like how you see the performance. So if you're wondering like how do I check performance, go to search results, and it's pretty straightforward what's going on here. Like say you want to see like what pages are getting how many clicks during a certain time frame. It's like, hey, if you want to see how much you've gotten this over the last 28 days, you know, from certain pages, you just place that in here, and then it'll sort by clicks. You can add impressions. You can see like what the average position, like where the page is ranking on average over the last 28 days. Again, you can go days, months, or you could choose like your own time frame. You can also compare different time frames. A little more advanced and a little more advanced, but yeah, it's not really hard to set that up. You just kind of like put in the dates that you want to compare. Again, you can put in custom dates, and there's some filters here too. So say you want to just see the performance of a specific page, you just place that URL in here, or you could say like a specific page type, just blog pages. You could put like the blog kind of like URL, and then say it's like example.com/blog/blog, and it'll show all the blog articles. Or you could just do an exact URL. And I use this function a lot. So that one's important, and you definitely want to put that in there. And yeah, Google Search Console is pretty great. And like I said, it's very straightforward and fast. That's why I like it. It's not confusing. It's not extra. I'm not a fan of Google Analytics. I think the new GA4, I don't even use it. I think it's unusable. Um, and you can export what you see here. So yeah, it's a great tool overall. It'll definitely give you a good idea of what's going on with your page. And if you hit on a certain page, for example, you can kind of see like what queries are ranking best for it. Okay, we're getting like 2 clicks for how to fade in FL Studio ranking here, and you can kind of like optimize a page based on this. So for example, like, all right, this query gets the most impressions, so maybe I could try to like optimize more for this query, or something along those lines. There's a lot of different takeaways you can get from this. And then I'm going to show you like the other most important part, which is like adding the sitemap. I think you got to add the sitemap. It's usually sitemap.xml, especially if you're using Shopify. I know that's the case, but you got to figure out whatever your sitemap URL is. If you don't have one, you can make one. There's a lot of applications that will make a sitemap for you. So you just got to make that, and then again, you put that in here, and that's probably like the most important setup part, other than verifying your domain. And then that's kind of like all you really need to know as a beginner. Everything else here is kind of like yeah, it's been moderately helpful. Everything else here is definitely more advanced, and there's like manual actions and stuff like this. I very rarely dive into anything else, and I've been working as a professional for many years. Uh, it may just be my role, but like I don't really dabble with too much like kind of like let me show you something else. This is like the last thing I'll show you. So those are the most important things. This is a page that we're trying to like focus and rank better for. So I'll do kind of like I'll look at this two ways. You can put in a specific URL up here, and it'll give you some information on it. Okay, so we know it's in Google, so we know it's ranking, it's indexed. You can kind of see things here. Okay, great. Let's go back to the search results here. Go to add filter, page, exact URL. Let's put this in here and see how this page is doing, because actually this page seems to be underperforming. Okay, free melody loops download. What's getting the most impressions here? Melody loops, free melody loops. How's this been performing over a long stretch of time? Let's just look at this over the last 12 months. Yeah, as I suspected, it kind of dipped. It's kind of come back recently somewhat, and it's kind of flatlining at that 7 position. It was getting a lot of impressions. So, that it just tells the story of this. The CTR, okay, is about as high as it's been to some degree. So, I think the problem with this page is I might need to just like review it and try to make the content a little bit better. Maybe I could add more loops to this. That might make it more enticing. That might actually do it. But this actually gets a lot of clicks, weirdly enough, or it gets a lot of downloads. So yeah, it gets a lot of downloads. I'll have to review this. This is kind of getting off topic, but that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to come up with something else. If you have like a specific question, I can make another video that answers that. But that's kind of covers what I would say are the fundamentals and really like basically Google's Search Console in a nutshell. Everything else is like kind of like less likely to be used, and like I think this is just like the most important part for sure. Thank you for watching. Peace out.